Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttattooandpiercing@gmail.com, and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing. Hey metalheads, after going to a rager, what's your ultimate go-to? Mine is totally pizza. So when Overload is playing, or I'm promoting the Metal Forge live showcases, or the big goddamn metal show, I go to Pizza DoNisi. Pizza DoNisi is gourmet artisan pizza from right here in Louisville, Kentucky. It features things like the pizza of the month, the sandwiches, and also vegetarian and vegan options, which is so totally fucking cool for all of it's awesome pizza. You definitely want to go. Hey, and also from time to time they do cannolis. Oh, so fucking good. You know what they said, man? Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Yeah, just like that in Godfather. They're located right next to the Mag Bar at 1396 South 2nd Street. So either stop in or call in at 502-213-0488. They're open till midnight. The witching hour.
Heineken? Fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
Hey metalheads, you all hear me talk about Mag Bar all the time. It is the home to the Metal Forge live showcases and is an integral stop in the ultimate underground metal tour schedule. They obviously feature live music, but the Mag Bar also has daily specials like Pint and Slice Night on Tuesdays with Pizza DoNisi. But they also do Bring Your Own Vinyl on Thursdays with DJ Kent Jackson, and Finer Things Sundays. Located right next to Pizza DoNisi at 1398 South 2nd Street, open 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. 7 days a week. Get your asses out to the Mag Bar. Rock out. For 45 years in keeping Louisville weird, Electric Ladyland has been there for all your eccentricities. While they do offer the best smoking supplies out on the market today, there's a whole lot more to check out. From ashtrays and blacklight posters, to records, incense and burners, and items to stock your metaphysical supply. They are open from 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Located at 2325 Bardstown Road in Louisville, Kentucky, and at electricladyland420.com. Roll out. The year was 1979, and all the world was caught up in disco and Star Wars. But in Louisville, something was happening. A young entrepreneur named Ben had a vision to be the best record store in all of the city. Fast forward to 2023, and Better Days Records is still going strong. Still, after all these years, owned by the same guy. We have had some trips and falls along the way, but so does life, and Better Days is here to stay. With two awesome locations at 921 Barrett Avenue and at 2600 West Broadway, better days are surely in your future.
in a broken wasteland. Come to my fire and place your blood and steel upon my pyre. Oh, this is the Metal Forge. 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 Metal Forge. My furnace starts to glow with crimson coals. My hammer beating out.
What's going on, metalheads? Thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of the Metal Forge. My name is Mark Jackson, and I am your host. Wow, man. And today we have Darren Hammond Jr. and Phil Garret from the band Misery Machina here in the Metal Forge. Literally here in the Metal Forge. Hell yeah. I'm excited for that because I always love in-person guests, you know. I've had a few this year, and I really dig it. It's super fun. But, you know, Phil is also the owner of Ageless Art Tattoo and Piercing in Clarksville, Indiana, and in New Albany, Indiana. You know, you've heard their ads on the Metal Forge for the last couple of years. They've been sponsors ever since the podcast had started, really. So it's glad to actually have a sponsor in the studio for a little bit. And also here today in the live Wasteland, this seems to be more of a thing these days, and I really dig it, is Jason Gardner from the Heavy Metal Wasteland, Temptations, Wings, and the Ale Horn.
What's up, everybody?
Dude, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just new month means cooler temperatures on the way. Thank God.
Dude, this past week here in the area has been an absolute fucking dream weather-wise. I love getting out and it still be like a little bit of dew cover on the grass and shit, and it just be a little bit cool. It doesn't have to be like, you know, it doesn't have to be in the 40s or nothing, but even if it's just a little bit cooler in the morning versus walking outside and it being like 78 degrees with like 90% humidity. Right.
Yeah, this it's been pretty cold this week also, luckily, but it's supposed to be back near 90 again next week, so it's really making me rethink my commitment to believing in God, because if I do go to hell, I can't handle this heat, let alone eternal flame. But maybe I should just like buy in like 5% or something just to be safe. I don't know. It's really fucking with me, man. This heat is no joke. I work outside mostly, so yeah, it's fucking, it gets to me.
Excuse me. So yeah, buy 5% in like the stock market.
Sure. Yeah, like just, you don't have to go all in. Like, don't do all of it. Like, just enough to, like, you know, get through the gate. If that's the way it goes down.
Right. So
just like recite some Witch Hazel lyrics or something at the gate. Be like, you know, well, I don't know what more you want.
You have chosen poorly. Like at the end of Last Crusade.
Yeah.
The penitent man will pass. The penitent man will pass. Let me in.
Well, Mark, I'm pretty excited to be here on this one because I'm going to start a new segment.
Oh shit!
On the live Wasteland. Yeah.
Oh god.
So,
you're like ransacking the show here. What the fuck?
Yes, I am, because spontaneity is what makes everything fun. So I'm going to do somewhat of a concert calendar. The first Metal Forge of each month. And I got some shows and some small fests that I'll bring attention to. And I'm just going to run down the list of stuff in my area mostly. And that way everyone kind of knows and they can, seek it out if it is indeed a tour coming to their area.
For sure.
So I'll go ahead and get started. The first one is the band Haunt is on tour in part of September. So if you're into them, make sure you look up to see if they're going to be near you for the rest of the tour. I know it's going on for a little while, so you might have missed them if you didn't know about it. But if not, at least check the tour dates, see if they're coming near you for the rest of the tour this month.
And I will go ahead and say on that though that I have promoted that tour with Haunt and Hellfire pretty much all summer.
Yeah, cool.
Because that's the same tour.
Yeah, this is the people who just don't pay attention. This is for them.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so I'm gonna go through. This is in pretty much no particular order, just notes I have. So I'm gonna do the first shows that are in Asheville, and then I'll move on to another area. So Asheville shows. My friend Josh at Grasping Air Booking has some pretty good shows coming up. So he has Red Beard Wall coming to Fleetwood September 17th. That should be a pretty good one because Fleetwood is pretty tiny. So if you like Red Beard Wall, that's a good one to go to. It's on a Sunday. He also has his first fest he's doing, 2-day fest, 2-venue fest called Mount Doom, September 30th and October 1st. And let me give you the rundown for that real quick. So the first day is Mean Green, Doomsday Prophet, Bog Monkey, and Wind Rider. $15 at Fleetwood's. So that is September 30th at 8 o'clock. The next one is at the Odd on day 2, Sunday, October 1st, which would be Calgon, Lie Heavy, The Beard Cult, and Michael Rudolph Cummings, which are all pretty much local bands except for Lie Heavy. So that's his first fest. Both days, $15. So if you need your Doom fix, that's a good one. Also, Crowbar is coming to the Asheville Music Hall September 14th with Primitive Man, Body Box, and a local band who I'm familiar with called Tombstone Highway, who are basically the Obsessed worship band, if you didn't get that from the name. And September 11th, Dorothea Cottrell from Windhand is playing a solo set with the band Shadow Cloak and Jesus Casino. And that's at Static Age Records, which is a pretty cool little record shop and venue in the back. Pretty tiny, maybe 60 people tops. So if you like Windhand, you should check that out. That's on Monday, September 11th. And then moving on to Athens, Georgia, the 6 years of Shadebeast Fest is coming up pretty soon. And that one has September 29th, September 30th at Flicker Theater and Bar, 9 o'clock. September 29th, Bog Monkey, Ember, and Doomsday Prophet. September 30th, the Holy Ghost, Tabernacle Choir, 20-Watt Tombstone, and Horseburn.
That's going to be a rad show.
So that's the 6 years of Shadebeast Fest if you're in the Athens, Georgia area or close to it. So that's just a few things going on here in the North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia region. If you're in this region, I want to check some of that out. And so yeah, that's pretty much the my concert calendar for this month. I'm gonna try to come on the first of every month and just run down some stuff that you might be interested in, whether it's national tours or local shows or just small fests happening here and there. Because seriously, I'm just tired of the Danny Wimmer, et cetera, just taking all the air. There's so many fests going on.
Well, you don't have
why not highlight them,
Yeah, you don't have to tell me about the Danny Wimmer thing in September because it's monopolized for 2 weekends here in September for 8 days. It's the 8 days of Music Fest now is what it's called. And it's Bourbon and Beyond, which is the third week of September, and then the Louder Than Life, which is usually the last weekend of September.
What do they do? Just lease the public land for a month to get that ready?
I mean, it's what they call the Highland Festival Grounds. It's basically the fairgrounds is what it is. I mean, so it's not like it's being used for anything. It's not like it's a public park or anything like it originally started out in.
Right.
Because it originally started out in an actual park.
Gotcha.
So
I don't know if you have anything for September to add show-wise, but yeah, that's just a small sample of what's going on out there. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I do want to add a couple of things tonight. By the time this airs or drops on September 1st, Rifle and Bugbot will be at 21st in Germantown. Rifle, obviously, friends of the Metal Forge. They've been playing. They've been in the show. They've been in the Forge. They've been they were the original first guest on the Metal Forge, so that was pretty cool. That's tonight. Also, Solicitor is going on tour this September again as well, so I will be trying to put out a commercial for that as well. And we will be on that show, and I say we meaning Overload, meaning on September the 26th at the Louisville date in Portal, we will be with Fantafaxia, Solicitor, Sunless, Noosebear, and Overload, and that starts at 6:30. So that'll be a fun one. A nice early show. Should be done by 11, I would say.
Right.
That's a check all the boxes show. That's like, there's thrash, there's post-hardcore, kind of new metal, and some speed metal, speed thrash from, with Solicitor, black metal, and some death metal going on in there. So it's a mixed fucking bag. And
it's a charcuterie board of metal.
Yeah, exactly, it is. But you wanted to do the thing with some shows, but here's one of the things I wanted to bring up and talk about is making sure you as a band have your music on all outlets that you can, regardless if it pays or if it doesn't or whatever, because the thing about it is legislation is not being changed fast enough to keep up with having your music on fucking Spotify or Pandora or Deezer or what the fuck ever. If you have the possibility to put it on there, and then obviously if the legislation gets changed to where the musicians get a better cut, because if you don't, because you have and I am against Spotify for the most part, because and Pandora and shit like that, because they pay even less than Spotify does. But the thing about it is they're almost a necessary evil. Like social media is a necessary evil in promoting your band. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't have your music readily available on outlets for people to get it, then what's the fucking point? I understand, don't get me wrong, I understand what 20 Watt Tombstone is doing versus the people who buy a physical copy will get their copy before anybody who buys it digitally.
Right.
Is what the deal was. And I am totally fine with that. I am 100% okay with that, because on the run, I don't have, when it comes to booking bands and buying music and to feature on the show here, I rely a lot on Bandcamp for that.
Sure.
And it really sucks when a band that it's man, if you don't have your music on Bandcamp, you're taking money out of your own pocket. Because I guarantee that even if there's something that, anybody anybody can buy it off of there. And, even if there's going to be that one or two crazy people that just come through and listen and say, hey, that's really good, I'm going to pick it up. But, you wouldn't know if that were the case. You know what I'm saying?
I do, yeah. I mean, I could go, this could be a whole episode of the Ale Horn, really, but I'll just, have a summarized version of what I think about it. The Spotify and stuff like that, it's easy to just, send the link, and it's just, there, because probably, I would say at least half of the people that you converse with about sharing your band have Spotify.
Oh, I'm sure.
So it's quick and easy,
but the thing about that is I don't pay for Spotify Premium.
Right.
So what sucks about me getting a Spotify link from a band, even though they have it, which is great, what sucks about it is that because I don't pay for Premium, a lot of times that band does not come up within the first 6 songs.
Right.
So you can't skip to them.
Yeah.
And that is bullshit. Because that's why I say, don't you have it on fucking Bandcamp or something? Or can't you just fucking email me fucking a WAV file or an MP3 file at this point? Because it's like, what the fuck?
Well, what I was also about to say is, being in a band, the first link I send out every time is my Bandcamp link. That's always at the top, because most people are going to click the first link.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you just like put it right in their face and like, here? So what I do is, like, when they ask for links, like a show I've been working on getting my band together, like I submitted, blah 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 blah.
You will submit.
I just sent Bandcamp, Facebook, and YouTube. Like, I didn't do Spotify. If they asked for it, I would have put it on there, but I was like, maybe they'll buy a song or an album, or, God forbid, a piece of physical merch.
Right.
It didn't happen, but there's a greater chance if you do that. So, I mean, yeah, bands just have to work a little bit hard for themselves too. I mean, it sucks that, Spotify can't make everyone millionaires, but the reality is, like, you got to give a little to get a little.
Right. Well,
so, like,
the thing with Spotify and Pandora and those and internet things are, to even from the beginning, is there is no good legislation on it. That's it. And it's such an afterthought in the country right now that it'll probably never, even in mine or your lifetime, be rectified. Only will it ever be rectified when there is a complete non-physical media presence. And even then, I think it'll still be a while.
Well, the art's regarded as garbage in this country.
Right.
Like, there's no regard. Like, everything, I think streaming made everything disposable because it's always there.
Right.
Like, like, if you think about it, like, when you were a kid, you remember some B movies that you watched as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, straight to video stuff. Like, you remember vividly because you had to go to the store, you got out of the car, you went inside, you walked around, you picked up, you put down, you picked up, you put down, you read, and then you went and paid. And then you took it home and you put it in a VCR or DVD player. You watched. It was all physical actions. Now everything's just like okay on a remote control.
Yeah, and
you forget about it the next day. And there's some really good stuff still out there, but it just doesn't stick with you like it used to. And it's the same thing with music. Like, dude, I was one of the Ale Horn episodes, like, a long time ago. I was doing a thing with another guy from Kentucky named Pat Whitaker, and I was doing, like, dude, look at these album sales. Like, the worst Anthrax album back in like 1990 or 88, dude, the first week it sold like 400,000 copies. Like, they could release an album now and it would never reach 400,000 copies. And it would still debut at like number 4. When this Anthrax album that sold like 400,000 copies, it might debut like number 15 or 20. With that many. It was nuts. But yeah, nowadays it's just disposable. You forget about it because there's no physical interaction except for pushing a button on your screen.
Right.
And I think that's where the disregard comes from, because it just seems...
Well, I think there was disregard before that, because long gone are the days of actual, like, artists that transcend time and space, I guess. Meaning, like, people like Andy Warhol as visual artists. There's not people like him anymore, Right. I mean, everybody who is an artist, they might have their own niche or whatever, but there's just... You used to not be able to hear of so many people because there was no internet and news traveled a lot slower.
That's true.
Now it's everybody in your face all the fucking time, and that's where it really does get to the point of, there's almost nothing special about art anymore.
This is true. Like, there's an example that I've never told anyone before, but I remember I got like ISS in school, in high school, like 10th grade. Probably like got busted smoking or something. I don't know. But I remember I was bored and I just had a piece of paper.
Was it?
I just had a piece of paper and I just started writing down like all the bands that I heard back in like 1996. So I remember a lot of them. I'm not gonna go over them all. I mean, it was like I even got down to like MD45 and shit like that. I was pretty knowledgeable about bands back in school. Dude, if I did that same thing nowadays, if I had like an ISS as a 43-year-old, I could go through a notebook, dude. Like, no problem with bands. But, like, how many would I not remember is really the thing. Like, these were just bands that I saw, like, Metal Edge or, like, something like that. Like, I knew of and could, like, recite. Because, yeah, you're right. Like, only the top got attention. It wasn't, like, not picking on you. Like, Ice Howl wasn't gracing... A band like Ice Howl wasn't gracing the covers of Metal Edge or, you know, something like that. But, you know, Megadeth releases Euthanasia, they're all over it.
Right.
That's what you see, you know, and like there's blurbs of stuff, but it's like, hey, Vince Neil's got a new solo album coming out. It's like, okay. So
right. And it's
like the secondary bands, you know?
Well, and that's where I, like, maybe unjustly attack, like, Metal Sucks and Metal Online and shit like that on, like, Twitter, because what they do is they've employed so many writers that anybody who posts from the account and gets the clicks on the articles and gets to read through, because it's like, hey, 2-minute read, that's why they put that on there, is so that you know it's a no time invested read.
Right.
You know, that it's just a blurb. It's just a goofy ass newsprint that's like, oh, so and so still mad about this, and it just pisses me off. And it's just like, you know, with all of that garbage that they spew on all of those bands, that even still today, that they could make so many more bands that much more popular.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, how many articles did we need about Vic Mars being disgruntled with Motley Crue? Like, I think one was good. I didn't need 15 with, like, opinionated slants toward the situation. Like, I was good with one. But they just keep on, like,
well, and it's not even just that. And here's the thing. It's not just that it's, you know, Metal Injection, Metal Sucks, and Metal on. You know, it's not that it's 15 articles. It's 15 articles from each fucking publication is the problem.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, you know, whoever's gonna write about it, and that's because they're surfing for the click.
Yep.
Every one of those deals, they pay those writers by the click that they get. They get like $10 for a published article and 10 cents per click. And if you get 10,000 clicks, you know, you're doing pretty fucking well. But that's why you see the frequency post of like so many articles on those sites like that.
Yeah, it's bottom of the barrel journalism. I don't even read, like, if you want to, like, I don't even read, like, journalism for, like, music anymore, because, like, I just listen to the shit. If I like it, I like it. I don't. You can't, like, you can't write something to tell me that I'm going to like it because I like this. Like, it's very subjective, you know? Well, that's the good thing about music is it can't be spoiled by a description. Because until you hear it, you have no fucking clue what it's going to sound like, other than it's fast or slow.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's where I think zines are still where it's at. Like the independent zines, I still pick those up from time to time, like Soul Grinder Zine. They're a sponsor of the Metal, or a friend of the Metal Forge. Mercenary Press, Christopher Barling, he does some zines and stuff like that, and they're awesome. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I know what you're saying. It's still not as the same as hearing it, but I like them because, again, they turn me on to bands that I, probably wouldn't have heard of on Metal Sucks' website or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good way to, like, read, like, artist interviews and get, like, philosophies behind albums or ideas or whatever. That stuff's cool, too, but as far as, like, the actual music, like, the only thing, the really good thing about music is you just can't describe it to someone and spoil it like you can a movie or TV show. So,
right. There's not like this thing where you go and then there's this really big solo and then you break out into like miming it out with your mouth and shit, and it just doesn't work the same as saying, oh yeah, in that scene Yoda turns around away from Luke and just goes, Your father is. And then dies.
Yeah, the older my kids get and ask questions, the more I relate to that scene. Totally.
What now?
The older my kids get and ask me questions, the more I relate to that scene every time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
That you just want to roll over and die when they ask you?
Yeah, he just like, Luke's like asking a question. He's like, yeah, fuck this, I'm out.
Well, I think it's funny that, you know, when they did it in the Family Guy one where he keeps saying Luke and he's like, right here, still here.
Yeah.
Right here, come on. Haven't went anywhere. Because he keeps saying Luke between everyone. But, you know, now we're starting to ramble, and you know what that means.
Yeah, time to go.
Time to roll it up, you know? And that's what we're going to do. So, obviously, before we get into the interview here with Darren and Phil from Misery Machina, playing the big goddamn metal show on Saturday the 14th at the Mag Bar. Hell yeah, friends of the Metal Forge. I can't even talk all of a fucking sudden. But I do want to mention Flamekeeper.vip. There you can go and get early access to the Metal Forge, the Alehorn, the Mudhorn, and Jason's Unsleeved and my Unsleeved. So go up there, $2, $1, $5, whatever you do. It's awesome. You get discounted tickets to shows. You get free download codes. You might get some free merch here. You know, I'm thinking about running out some patches. And definitely, I know I'm getting new stickers made. So, oh hell. And there's new Metal Forge shirts and maybe a new Metal Forge hot sauce down the pike. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. Some new stuff coming along. So, Jason, you have anything you want to tell anybody before we go today?
New episode of my Unsleeved coming up soon. Other than that, that's about it.
Hell yeah. And Tuesday, new episode of the Alehorn.
Yes.
Well, you're going to do a Labor Day episode? You're going to talk about the joys of Labor Day?
I've got things in the works. I just need to get confirmation. So, yeah. It'll be up next Tuesday.
Hell yeah. So, from Misery Machina, this is Black Angel. All right, metalheads, we are back this week, and this is actually super special because before we get into band talk, I'm going to put him on the spot because you've heard this the so many episodes of the Metal Forge, and you hear at the very beginning, the very first thing you hear that machine going off. It's, I have Mr. Phil Garret here in the Metal Forge, the owner operator of
Ageless Art Tattoo and Piercing.
Yeah,
in New Albany.
He is here.
Come up, having a holy experience.
I know, having one of the sponsors in the Metal Forge is so fucking cool, dude. I'm glad you're here.
Well, I'm glad to be here, and I'm always glad to sponsor too. It's always nice to see something out here local that's metal related, that's pushing forward bands, and also, you know, on a national scale, exposing people to music they might not hit.
Exactly, because that's what it's all about. You know, it's about turning it over to people and just saying, hey, man, I might not like this, but you might. Yeah. You know, and somebody referred to me as the Johnny Appleseed of metal the other day.
Planting those little seeds as you go along. Yeah.
Because I said in a video, I was like, you know, I might not like it, but I know 20 people who do. Yeah. And, which is cool, right? Yeah. So you're coming up here on a full year with the New Albany location now?
Yeah, actually, it's almost 2 years.
Is
now,
it almost 2 now?
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, we were actually discussing.
21?
Yeah, we opened right after COVID, right after everything opened back up. We had our opening. I think it will be 2 years because we were talking about having a anniversary sometime in October, like maybe on Friday the 13th, doing like a little Halloween flash special or something like that. So
see, that would be fucking rad because I got a piece there on the opening night for it, and it was the No Feet Ghosts from Beetlejuice. I love it.
Have some spooky stuff up on the walls, some silly stuff up on the walls. You know, man, see what we can get in the door. Also, I'd like to do a Toys for Tats event again this year around Christmas time. Bring up a toy, you know, get a little tattoo. It's a win-win situation.
Hell yeah, and that would be, you know, that's perfect, you know, because it's giving back to the community, and it's making, you know, the metal lifestyle and metal culture and just, you know, we're an offshoot with the tattoo community, but the tattoo community is so much broader because it's so much more, you know, socially acceptable to have tattoos now than it was, say, 50 years ago, right? Where, you know, it was really considered either, you know, military or bikers only kind of shit.
I mean, back in the day, you'd see Bon Scott, and he had like one tattoo on his forearm. Everybody's like, he's tattooed. He's scary as hell. And like,
right.
Ozzy back in the day, you look at the tattoos he had.
And he had a bunch at one time. You know, well, I say at one time, like he probably still has them. But.
I mean, you know, and then of course you have like Dee Snider. I know has a bunch of tattoos. Tommy Lee, I believe, has a whole bunch of tattoos. Yeah. So I mean, you know, it definitely goes.
I'd say the worst one is that one that says Mayhem across his ribs or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the worst tattoo I've ever seen.
On him, I think it is.
Probably,
I mean, you know, I'm sure there's much worse that, you know, we've never seen.
Yeah, I'm sure Tommy Lee has done much worse than get that tattoo. Too, so,
right.
Let's face it.
But the cool thing you mentioned here is doing possibly an event on Friday the 13th in October.
/ a Halloween thing, you know. Nice.
Hell
little,
yeah. He asked for a 13, but they drew a 31, right?
A little Offspring.
Yeah, a little Offspring reference there. Hell yeah.
You know, and the thing with Offspring is, I always think is interesting, is they were a legit punk band back in the day, like Green Day, and then once they became more popular, everybody was like, oh, you know, these guys aren't real punk, and it's like, they're pretty punk metal guys. I mean,
it's all because of Crazy Taxi.
You think so?
Yeah, it's got to be. It's Crazy Taxi's fault.
And let's go ahead and introduce Darren here. Darren, he is the singer of Misery Machina, who is our guest this week, as we've been doing the tattoo talk for a few minutes here. And what I was going to allude to is bringing in was, if you're doing the Friday the 13th, go and get if you do that, go and get a tattoo at Ageless, and then come to the big goddamn metal show that night also, because that's the first night where awesome fucking band Throne of Iron from Bloomington, Indiana is headlining that night. So I had to get the plug in there because you guys are playing the big goddamn metal show on the second night, which is the 14th. And so let me ask, is that a debut show?
Actually it is.
Yeah, it is.
That'll be the debut for you all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting. So how does that make you all feel?
Very, very excited, man. It's been a little while since I've been on a stage. So just to be able to go back and to perform, and even if it's to 10 people, which it won't be, but even if it's to 10 people.
I seriously hope not.
Well, I don't want to jinx us,
Oh, please don't.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
I can argue we actually have a pretty good slot, too. So
you do. You all and Promise of Plague are back-to-back.
Yep.
Which
I love Promise of Plague.
Oh, man. I do as well. Friends of the Forge, of course, because we've been around forever, and they were on in the radio. So I want to get Jerry in here now, and just and of course you would be back.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of planning going into some of this metal show shit.
It should be a fun show. I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's been a long time since I've been up on stage. And the Mag Bar, I went and checked out a little punk show there. I have to say the Mag Bar is a lot nicer than I remember it. I mean,
they've actually picked up
cars every now and then, but
it's almost 2 in a week.
Yeah, that's right.
So for everybody outside of the Louisville thing of listening here, Mag Bar, you've heard their ad at the beginning of the show. They have a magnet for cars in the building because they sit on the corner of 2nd and Magnolia.
Yep.
And 2nd is a one-way street, and people just do the dumbest shit. Like they realize that they want to turn on Mag, and then they turn into the front door of the bar.
Yep.
Because it is literally, 8 feet to the street, if that.
I'd say it's even less than that, honestly.
It's probably 6 feet, And there was actually the one where the near hit was video last week.
Yeah.
It was fucked up because they almost hit a person.
Jesus.
They almost missed the building and hit a person. So it's like, what the fuck, people?
I don't know, man. I'm always kind of shocked about shit like that. Like, or you'll hear about somebody hits the gas instead of the brake and plows into a storefront, and I'm like, man, as soon as you hit the gas and start going, just pull your foot up. Like, what are you doing here? Like, you
it doesn't surprise me, man. People are fucking stupid.
I think that's why I'm a musician. Because a lot of people are fucking stupid, and I don't want to I gotta fucking do the thing, I've gotta fucking be it's my outlet to deal with those people.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. In my case too, I think that's probably why I decided to be my own boss, because man, working for people, I'm just it can be rough sometimes when you're just how are you my boss? What the hell is going on here?
Right. But that is a good thing too, though, because how many shops have you actually worked in?
I've worked at 3 shops. I used to work at a place called Asgard Inc. in downtown New Albany, which was actually the first tattoo shop, I believe, on this side of the river. I think Uncle Bob was still up in Salem, but he came down to Clarksville a few years after that. And that was owned by Donald Purvis, and Travis King from Prophecy was there. Scott Bryan, who owns Acme, was out there. We had Rick Harland out there. We had a really good crew out there. I mean, Billy Knoll was out there, Eric Barmore, Matt Porter, a whole bunch of really good artists.
Know very many of them. They're all awesome fucking people. Fucking definitely great artists.
Oh yeah.
And I like watching and seeing all right, it's going to who for what?
Yeah.
It's all right, I know I want to get a piece like this. So would I go to Adam, or would I go to Jared, or would I go to Ben, or would I go to you?
Because everybody does something different. You're talking about how metal earlier is really diverse, but that applies to everything. It kills me. You get on Facebook and people are like, well, who's the best tattoo artist? And it's well, man, what's your idea of the best?
Right.
The art's very subjective. What do you like? Just find somebody where you think, man, their artwork is really cool and their tattooing's cool, and as long as they're autoclaving everything and using cross-contamination prevention, go ahead and get a tattoo from him. Like,
Right.
I'm a firm
Absolutely.
believer in that.
From me, it's still Phil, though.
Yeah, Phil is the greatest of all time.
I mean, at least here, man. He's got to be up there. Everybody that I talk to knows Phil, man.
Right. Oh yeah. Everybody does know Phil.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you know Phil? He's like, maybe. He's like, he's tall guy, tattoos. Oh yeah. I know him. Like Tyson.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
knows
Well,
Tyson
I mean,
for being the tall, bald guy
I
in the
wouldn't say
pit.
like I'm the best, but I'm really good at talking to people and being nice to customers and being friendly and stuff like that. And I've run into some artists that have a hard time. And it's kind of like metal bands. We've all dealt with that one band where it's like, yo, man, black metal's cool, but you don't have to sit there and glower at everybody like for real.
Right. It's like, I know you're a wrestling fan, so what was the thing that Bobby Heenan said in his Hall of Fame speech about kayfabing in public and even some of them kayfabed in private?
I believe it.
Like the black metal bands kayfabe in
yeah.
public and private.
Yeah.
Like, so, and that's why I say metal is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's where, and that's like a derivative of what I saw in like the Lemmy documentary one time where they said Motorhead. Being a fan of Motorhead is not being a fan of like just anything. You have to like be invested in that band to be a fan of them. Like hardcore.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. Yeah.
Like Motorhead's a lifestyle.
Yeah. Well, but Motorhead's a weird band in the fact too that like are they a metal band? Are they a hard rock band? I mean, are they a biker band? What is Motorhead? I mean,
They're fucking Motorhead, man.
Yeah.
They're Motorhead, and that's
They're
the thing.
Triple H's walk-in music. That's what they are.
Yeah.
The
And
game
Lemmy was Ozzy's babysitter
right here
back in
on the
day.
shirt, right here. I'm a huge Triple H fan. I always have been, and when he came back the first time, it was just like holy fuck,
Well,
and a Motorhead shit.
I'm just glad though that he's actually back in WWE with creative because there for a while, man, they were having a bad spot. And I feel like once he came back and like Vince McMahon was a genius. But he's old and he wants to keep doing the same thing over and over again. And Triple H has really kind of revitalized it and brought it back, giving pushes to people that should have a push.
I would be okay. So like where I stand on that thing with the whole Endeavor merger and all of that's supposed to be finalized in September.
Oh, for the UFC and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Where Endeavor, the parent company of UFC, it's supposed to be finalized in September. There are 2 members of WWE on the overall board of directors.
Vince and Linda, I would assume.
No, it's Nick Khan.
Oh, that's right, Nick Khan.
It's Nick Khan and Vince.
Okay.
And Vince is the overall chairperson of Endeavor now.
Yeah.
Wait,
does Nick Khan own AEW or my?
No, that's Tony Khan.
Tony Khan, okay.
Different Khan.
I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? This is all a big lie.
Yeah, right.
This is why MJF is name dropping everybody on AEW because it's okay.
Yeah, right. But that's the whole thing is like, so when the new board takes over, Triple H isn't even a part of it anymore.
That could be bad.
Yeah,
that could be
I
bad.
really either look for him to branch off and do his own thing within the next year or two.
Yeah.
And it might be, it might be like a TNA thing. It might be like the old WCW Saturday Night shit where they don't tour at first, but like how he started NXT that way at Full Sail. I think it would be something.
Well, he could
like
also
that.
always go over to AEW too. I mean, I'm sure they'd welcome him with wide open arms.
I doubt that. A lot of them, like the Being the Elite video stuff, where they were constantly ragging on him for like
but
2.5
if Cody
years.
Rhodes can smash his throne up and then come over with no beef, those guys, they're all about making money. Like that's the main thing. If they're making money, they're cool with each other to an extent.
But would they? Knowing how he is, though, I know he's all about the business.
Yeah.
But would it be the thing of, because they've all talked so much shit about him fucking having to be the one that goes over.
Well, yeah.
But like he did to Sting.
Yeah.
And what are they going to book him where he fucking,
they'd book him to where he just lost all the time. Be like revenge booking or something.
Yeah,
like
revenge.
That.
Yeah, because they do that to them when they know that they're leaving.
Yeah.
They jobbed out fucking Dean Ambrose to fucking Nia Jax, dude.
Yeah, they did.
Twice.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, well, John Moxley's in a better place now, so
Yeah.
and his character is definitely being much more used correctly and stuff like that. Seth Rollins is finally being utilized correctly too.
Right.
And Roman Reigns actually shocked me by becoming capable on a mic of actually, being able to speak well. And cut a promo, and also somebody explained to him that body language counts, facial expressions, stand there, don't run down there real fast. Of course, he's got Paul Heyman, but by himself, he does a really good job. And, 3-4 years ago, I would not have said that. I thought Roman Reigns was capable of doing that.
And that was my thing. And the wrestling community that does listen to this, because we do have a few wrestling community people that do.
Well, that also ties into heavy metal, too.
It does.
The Undertaker is metal as hell.
Right. And I called that they should have pulled the trigger on Roman first. When they split the Shield, the original time, and they had to go to Rollins, it should have been to Roman.
Yeah.
And he should have been that heel then, because they could have got away with it then.
But
I
agree with that.
As opposed to making him a face. And trying to make him
the problem, though, is
Cena.
WWE has said their things, and they always want certain people to be like the next John Cena, and then they also have a really hard time recognizing an organic growth of popularity. I mean, Daniel Bryan was huge, and how long did he have to struggle before they gave him anything? LA Knight right now is huge. He is super over, and they're finally grudgingly starting to give him some stuff. But it's like, look, if you guys... You have to grow things organically. You cannot force people like this is the next John Cena. This is the next,
this is who
Hogan.
we want to do it.
People are going to pick out their own heroes and villains.
Right. And I think the only reason why the Hogan thing worked was because he had already started doing it in AWA.
Yeah, and he was also in Rocky 3 too. So people were exposed to him. Thunder Lips.
Because he got fired for that.
Yep.
For Rocky 3.
Because they didn't want to. They wanted him to share cuts, if I recall correctly. Vern Gagne wanted some of his money off of the movie, and he basically went, "I don't think so, brother, man." And he was out.
No. What I'm saying, Vince Sr. fired Hogan for doing Rocky.
I thought he was in.
No,
I thought
not
he was
at
in
that
Gagne's thing.
No, because when he come back from Rocky, he had. That's when he went to AWA the first time.
Huh. I thought he came up in Vern Gagne's territory, and then Vince Jr. stole him out of there.
He did. He stole him from AWA, yes. Okay. But that was after Vince. It was after Junior had already taken over.
Okay.
Yeah, because he had actually worked for
I could see that,
New York
especially
in the late
because Senior
70s.
was very. I mean, he was all about Bruno Samaritan and all that.
Sammartino,
Sammartino, and one of those people. I suffer from that. I've read the word a whole bunch, but
I
don't
you just
pronounce
do the
it
thing.
a whole bunch. So.
Yeah, right. But cool. I mean, so now that we're here, let's talk about the band.
Okay.
So. We haven't heard much from Darren over here, so we're going to put him
I just
on
don't
the
know
spot.
that much about wrestling, honestly.
Oh, no.
But
I mean,
I love wrestling video games.
Nerd out. He's like, man, look at these wrestling nerds.
Yeah, look at
hey,
these...
man, I can't talk. I'm a huge D&D nerd. So
What's
I'm a D&D nerd, too. So.
Yeah.
I'm a film nerd, and I go to film quotes. So it's like, what do they look like, Jimmy? Dorks. A couple of dorks.
Hey, man, whatever makes you happy.
They're your clothes, motherfucker.
As long as you ain't hurting nobody, I don't see no problems.
Everybody's got that one thing that they're dorky or nerdy about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I'm dorky and nerdy. I mean, look at my room here. It's all about the metal and carnage. Killing Venom on the ceiling. And,
hell yeah.
And fucking Motorhead, Metallica, and all that shit.
Yeah.
But you go out into the rest of the house, and you got the other nerd stuff like Masters of the Universe.
Well, there's nothing wrong with any of that.
Yeah.
Everybody's. But that kills me because the dudes are like, "Oh, you're a nerd." It's like you play fantasy football, bro. Like,
you can't get much more. But it's real people.
Yeah. It's like,
fuck that. That doesn't work, man.
It's like, come on,
As Hulk Hogan would say. Yeah. That don't work for me, brother.
Yeah. Let me tell you something, dude. No, I mean, then of course you get people that go to church, and it's like, man, that's nerdy as hell. Like playing Dungeons and Dragons is small potatoes compared to the weird imaginary stuff you're telling you. I mean,
right?
There was a guy; he was his own dad. Okay, and it's like, get out of here with that. Come on.
Jesus. So about
exactly.
the band.
He was his own dad.
He was his own. What? So tell everybody out in Metal Forge Land about the band.
Well, I joined them a couple years ago, just kind of looking for a band to play with because it had been a long time since I had played. So I think I put a post out on Facebook, and Daryl, our lead guitarist, hit me up, and he was like, "Hey, check out some of our stuff. Come play with us." And so we did. And then I hit up one of my buddies. He came and started playing with us. Darren. And play with them I did.
Whoa, what?
No. We're all grown men. We're all grown men.
Right.
Right.
You've been with them a couple of years. So, like, why so long now? I mean, obviously, the pandemic was there.
Yeah.
And that was a big pain in everybody's fucking ass, and still is. Because now things are supposedly on the rise again.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, so now here we are at the culmination that in a few short weeks, by the time this airs, you all will be making a debut and making a mark.
Yeah, that's the plan right there. As far as why so long, well, when Darren first came in, we had some songs written. Now, one of them, Black Angel, which is on the EP, is a strong song and well suited for his style. But the other songs we had weren't the best material that we felt like we could offer, especially when we had Darren and Gabe in the mix. They kind of brought forward some other influences, and we felt like we could write better stuff, stronger material. So we wanted to write something that was inclusive with all of us, where all of us got to, input on it, instead of it's just like, you're the mercenary player. Like, you come in and you just shut up and you sing this and you play this. Like, that's right. That nobody wants to go to practice and deal with that, unless you're a studio musician and getting paid.
And I'm not. I'm not getting paid. But I don't necessarily subscribe to the whole come in and do this and play this kind of thing anyways, because it's just like, you can't do that.
No.
I mean, to me, like, you have to have some bit of fluidness in everything. Because if one person writes and records everything, you're gonna have people. It's like everybody has their own dialect. Everybody has their own speech tone. Everybody has their own music tone. Like, you're a bass player, Phil. But I guarantee that if I let you plug in and play my bass right now, you would play completely different than I do.
Oh, yeah.
But still having some of the same... but not some of the same.
Because I can look around the room and tell that we have same influences here. I mean, you got Phil Lynott,
Steve DiGiorgio, fucking, and then there's fucking, there's stuff with different eras, and and obviously on the wall and stuff, you got some Motorhead stuff going on, so there's that, and but I think it's having to stick to something that's super rigid like that especially, that's what I have dug so much about the Ice Howl thing, is coming in to a band and Jason Roach just sitting there saying, like, dude, you play bass. Play it the way you would play it. And I'm like, fuck, dude, that's amazing. And and that's what makes metal. That's what makes music
also
worth
as a
it.
bass player, we're not supposed to be carbon clones of what the guitar player is doing. I mean, we're supposed to be, setting down the groove and rhythm. And the other reason we had to rewrite stuff too is it was Daryl and myself, and we tried to write lyrics for songs, and it was, it was all right, but it was very stilted. Neither one of us is, that poetic or that lyrical. And Darren was basically like, I don't know how to phrase this, but these lyrics kind of suck. And I read some lyrics, and I was like, these lyrics do kind of suck.
So what do you talk about in your lyric writing, if you don't mind my asking?
Me?
You, when you're writing lyrics, when Phil's writing lyrics.
Man, my big flaw is I always get caught up in patterns way too easily. I think it's just part of playing bass and stuff like that. So I try too hard to force rhymes and things like that, and I pretend I don't get real organic. But if I'm writing stuff for myself, I always want to delve off into either politics or D&D nerdom. Whereas Darren over here, his stuff is a lot more fluid. Like, when you look at his lyrics, they have more of a flow to him. He's not like, well, wait a minute, what rhymes with orange? And I have to work this in. He's like, I'm going to scream this shit, and it doesn't matter at all. So,
right. Absolutely. So when you're writing, Darren,
Yeah.
what is your go-to? What do you like to write about?
It depends on the song, really. I like to have music to write off of, and usually the vibe that the song gives can help me channel whatever I need to work through, really. Or even just something that I think is really cool. Like Black Angel is a song on the EP. It's the title track.
Right.
But that was just about a D&D character that I had that I thought was super fucking cool. And so I wanted to write a song about him killing people. And so that was the song. But there's other songs about like personal stuff that I deal with, or like a dream that I had. I had a dream where there was something chasing me that I couldn't see. And so I wrote a song about that because the feeling of it was horrifying. But to not be able to identify it was the thing that made it terrible. And so I kind of tried to take that and work with it with like anxiety or depression, or even just dealing with something that you can't identify.
Right. See, and that's awesome. I mean, like, that you can do that way. I tend to, when in my weird lyric writing, I tend to code a lot of stuff. And, so just because you're singing about a gunslinger doesn't necessarily mean you're singing about a gunslinger.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, so I put a lot of that stuff in there too, and yeah, man, that's fucking right on. Out of everything that you've written for the band, what would you say is your favorite one line out of any of them?
Oh shit! There's one in Black Angel actually that always makes me feel really, really powerful, and now because you put me on the spot, it's hard to. It's
I'm just gonna sit here and stare at you till you remember this.
Oh my God! He's got to break out the fucking notepad on the phone.
Hey, this is the way he writes stuff. Though, like we'll be jamming, he'll just get out his phone and he just starts typing away.
I remembered it. All right, I'm sorry. It's as I live and breathe, thou shalt bow to me.
Nice.
It just feels so powerful where it's placed.
Definitely.
And it just
that's fucking hardcore, man. That's a good one.
There's another one that's fuck. God damn, man. I hate this, man. I thought I would be so much more comfortable coming into this.
Nah, dude, you're good, man. You've been good.
And so the blood will pool and trail with me. My eye is called to the dead man that seeks me, a feeble sheep searching to draw the blood of the wolves.
Nice.
I like that.
I dig that. That's pretty fucking awesome.
Sorry, man. You're probably going to have to edit that. I just took forever to remember my own shit.
No, dude, that's totally cool. I mean,
I don't know why I wasn't expecting that question either. I get asked that question like at work and shit, and I'm able to just pop off. I'm like, oh yeah, this is the line that I really like. But
definitely, dude. Yeah, I mean, I know for me, I've got like certain stinging lines that I love giving, like live. So that's what I like doing it. So I know there's other people that have to. It's like when you get to it and you get to that point and you're just like, yeah, motherfucker.
If songs they have like an ebb and flow to them, and every song there always seems to be that one part where you just know like it's about to like slam into gear and you're about ready to just like wreck somebody's face.
That's the thing with me for the "As I Live and Breathe" line, because it's put over some like drawn out chords and then just goes straight into some really groovy shit.
Yep. Hell yeah, man. So you're hitting the ground running. You got the EP. Yep. You've got a first show. Yep. I'm assuming are you going to have shirts for the show?
Maybe.
I hope so.
I know.
We're working on it.
I might know a guy. Yeah. I might know a couple of guys.
Man. Okay.
Yeah. We'll talk off air on that one. So awesome. What do you have coming up after that?
I'm not real sure. We've been messing around with some covers at practice just for something to screw around with, doing Fortunate Son and You Should See Me in a Crown, just because, shits and giggles, do something a little different. Yeah. I like to get those at least recorded. We're also talking about maybe doing like something a little bit more old school, a little bit more grindy, and then I'd like to do The Game by Triple H's intro. I think that'd be a fun song to cover.
Hey, Church Recordings presents Haunt and Hellfire, No Sleep Till Date. Starting Thursday, August 24th, 2023 at Reverb Lounge in Omaha, with select dates in Chicago, Detroit, Newport, Indianapolis, Brooklyn, Wallingford, Philadelphia, Washington, Atlanta, Pensacola, Lafayette, and more. Check listings on Facebook and the Haunt the Nation fan club. No sleep till death.
But when I feel the urge to fight, like a fireball.
And, you know, that's one of the things that I absolutely love. And I read a book years ago because I'm that kind of music nerd where I get into, like, in the collecting front of things where I will look at barcodes to, like, distinguish where it's from. Like, what print it came, what its lineage is. You know, so, like, did it come out of, like, was this a European print that made its way over here somehow or whatever, you know? Because that shit does happen.
Yeah.
And
well, some shit, if we're talking about vinyl, you can only get via Europe. Like, if you want Danzig's first 3 albums on anything that resembles vinyl, well, you're getting European prints, and it's that easy. I mean,
absolutely.
A lot of old
and you know
battery.
the thing about that is when Lips from Anvil was on the Metal Forge a couple of years ago, we talked about that. And there's companies out there like Unidisc. Unidisc is a Canadian record label.
Okay.
They only have Canadian artists on their label, and they do not export to America.
So what's that, like 4 bands?
No, I mean, well, no, like in metal bands, I think it's like
No,
6 or 7. No, and with like metal bands and stuff, yeah, it's like 6 or 7. Yeah. But like their whole like discography,
a lot of Bryan Adams up in that band.
Yeah, they've got a ton of shit up there. But the thing about it is like they will not relinquish rights to anything ever, and on top of that, they don't export to the U.S. So you can't really, and they don't want to do reprints to the Canadian market for certain bands because, you know, it's just like they're just waiting for the right time to reprint it. But
well, and then like collectors will get pissed too because you're tanking the value of that reprint that, you know, when you reprint, you know, if they have the original, it kind of detracts from the value of that, like, you know, I mean, in its own way. Yeah,
it does. Because, there's more copies of it out there, but I think it's like on a slide scale, the way it does it. Because at the beginning, it's more sought after because it's an original print. But in the end result, you know, like 20 or 30 years from now, it's not going to matter because they're both going to be vintage and more vintage.
And then also you can have reprints where they end up being worth more. There's a mishap. Like I have, what is that, Guar's America Must Be Destroyed, where the first, like sides 1, 2, and 3 are all, 45 speed, you know, where it's got the longer, deeper grooves.
Yep.
And then side 4 is 33 speed, which I thought I was going nuts when I flipped it over, and all of a sudden it sounded like the Chipmunks doing, like, you know, meat sandwich on the back of that. And I was like, what the shit is going on right here? So,
and it was never told that either.
No,
I'm sure.
No. On that side, it specifically says play a 45 speed. I was like, I'm losing my fucking mind here.
Oh my gosh! See, and that's the funny thing because there's somebody that I know that wanted to do that with their split that they did with somebody.
That's a mean fucking thing to do, right there. Mean as shit. I think, man, it's like 45 records. I got Carcass's newest one. I cannot think of the name of it. It wasn't Surgical Steel, the one that just came out, and I did not realize that was 45 speed. So I was playing on 33, and I was like, man, Carcass is sounding real doomy all of a sudden. I mean, it sounded good. It was just a lot slower, and he sounded a lot deeper.
Yeah,
than
like not naturally deeper. Yeah.
Yep.
That's, you know, and that's a really cool thing too. And here on a few weeks back episode, we were talking about that, about Jason's band Temptation's Wings from Asheville, and he was like, you know, this cut at 45, but if you play it at 33, it sounds really fucking good. And I was like, dude, just do it, release it that way. What do you got to lose? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, another local band, Prayer Line. Their album was cut at 45. It's got it owns Deadbird Studios. And, they're a solid little horror punk band too. And I mean, yeah, it sounds either very fast and chipmunky or it sounds correct. But the first time I got it, I was like 33 speed. This doesn't sound like I remember the show to be. So I hit the button. You could hear, going so,
right. And I actually like slowing down the Motorhead stuff.
Oh, Jesus.
And it's really good actually. If they just played like a little bit slower and stuff, because then it's like real like kind of doomy.
Jesus,
and it's but it's not. But it's still like.
I mean, can you slow down Orgasmatron anymore?
Oh yeah, well that is super slow, and even in the fucking like the reissue of it in like 2000, like the special like download edition, yeah man, it was fucking. It's even slow there too.
Yeah, it's a slow song. I mean,
yeah,
I remember.
Sorry to interrupt, but I will honestly sit there and say that like I don't like that song musically, but I love that song lyrically.
Oh yeah, lyrically that song's fucking amazing.
It's what it is.
It's just the problem with that song is that off their first album? Is that off of Ace of Spades or
what?
Orgasmatron.
It's off Orgasmatron.
Oh, Orgasmatron.
It is its own album. Yeah,
I'm not that well versed in Motorhead.
No, you're good.
But yeah,
you are at the utmost authority, sir.
But when in that era of Motorhead, it's a very basic song compared to some of the other stuff they're doing. Which has a lot more pop.
Like Stone Deaf Forever, or not Stone Deaf Forever, but Deaf Forever.
Yeah, Love You Like a Lizard, all that.
Love Me Like a Reptile, yeah. That's on Ace of Spades, yeah. So that's 7 years earlier.
Yeah.
Ace of Spades is.
I'm not a huge Motorhead fan. I appreciate them. One of the best things I ever saw in a movie was this movie. Oh, what was the name of that movie? I cannot think of it, but it had one of the guys that played James Bond, and there was some hooker, and she gave birth to a kid. And then, like, he stabbed some dude in the face with a carrot. And then it played all of Ace of Spades over, like, 2 minutes. And it killed, like, 30 people in this, like, factory. And I was sitting there, and my wife came out of popcorn and was like, did I miss anything? I was like, you just need to rewind this shit and start all over from the beginning. Because I can't explain what I just saw.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Was it a trauma film?
No, it wasn't. What was the name of that movie? It'll come to me later on. I mean, it was goofy, though. Like, it was good. It had, what's the one dude? I'm just going to look this up. I'll let y'all talk about something else. I'm going to check this out real quick. I'm going to type in, man gets stabbed with carrot crying hooker, and we're going to see what pulls up right here.
That's a great Google search. Ooh. I'm totally glad like the NSA is watching that one.
Shoot 'em up.
Hey man, it might throw him off.
It might, yeah.
Yeah, it's Shoot 'em Up is the name of the movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's interesting that you typed that in and that came up immediately.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh, because that's what happens. He literally stabs dude with carrot, and then it just goes in and I was like, what the fuck is going? I don't have my popcorn. I'm not ready for all this just yet. Oh, we're killing motherfuckers. Oh, okay. It's like John Wick on crack.
It's crazy to me that you could find that out just at the snap of your fingers, but when I look up why the fuck is Baldur's Gate 3 crashing on me, I can't find an answer.
And it's because they don't want you to know that.
Yeah.
I guess so. But that's unfortunate. That makes me want to cry, man. I loved Baldur's Gate while I was playing it.
Well, because Baldur's Gate 3 is an amazing game, but yeah, it is. Oh man, I got a new graphics card for it, dude. And it still crashes out.
And now, see, now you're like, now you all are. I'm doing the thing for you all. What you were saying about me and him talking about wrestling, because I'm not a gamer. I'll fuck around on some like stupid fucking like putting the like the fucking sand in the cup games on fucking my phone shit. I don't play the Switch. Yeah. Fucking.
Nah, Zelda kicks ass, man.
No, like like all that shit, like NES stuff, I'm totally cool with. Yeah. But like, and I had a fucking Xbox, like an Xbox like original.
I've got every Xbox, man.
And like, I loved my original Xbox because that's when I was like introduced to like fucking like GTA and shit, which I really liked. But like, I hated the open world concept on like fucking Mario 64.
Really?
Yeah. Because I loved Mario 3 so much and Super Mario World, and it's such a fucking like weird thing. And the air meter when you're underwater. and I always would fucking drown, and it's like you're like trying to fucking use the stick and getting up and shit, and it's like
it's the same bullshit problem I always had with Castlevania when they wanted to make 3D Castlevanias, and I'm like, I don't want a 3D Castlevania, 2-dimensional. That's why I hate playing fucking Dark Souls, because it's goofy. It makes no fucking sense. I love the lore. I love watching other people play that game. I'm fucking terrible at that
I just
game.
love beating ass on Dark Souls, man.
It's
just the satisfaction of beating a challenge for me.
right.
I don't even give a fuck about the story. So many people are super invested in it. I couldn't care less. I just want to beat ass, dude.
I got a regular named Ricky. She is awesome, but she is also about 4.5 feet tall, weighs maybe 80 pounds, soaking wet, little petite librarian. Super sweet. Girl is a master of all those games. I was playing Dark Souls on the Switch, getting my ass whooped by the first boss repeatedly. Bitching about it, she came in, and I didn't think librarians could be quite that sarcastic, but she was like, oh, do you want me to beat that mean old boss for you real quick?
Oh,
and
my
I
God.
was like, you shut up, Ricky. I'm going to go get books and not return them now. I'm going to talk real loud in your fucking library, bitch.
Yes.
Hey, man, I had people judge me, too. I had a buddy that was like, oh, it took you 6 weeks to beat Pontiff? Mostly because I quit out of frustration.
Yeah, right.
But you know, when I came back, I spent another 2 days on it, and I finally beat him.
Right. See, Jason from Temptations, when he's like, you're not a real gamer. You play the Switch. You're not real. I'm like, fuck you, dude. And he gives me shit about it. Because, playing shit on like the Xbox or the PS5.
There's always cutoffs, though. It's the no true Scotsman logical fallacy where there's always like this level that we all draw to where like, we do this in the metal scene. Well, you're not really fucking heavy metal because you don't put corpse paint on
all of that
burn
is
churches.
bullshit,
Oh,
man.
yeah, it is.
It's all stupid. It's just a way to group yourselves apart. Like, it doesn't matter.
No. And that's why okay. So that's the other premise of like the big goddamn metal show, which is also why we're here, right? Because we're talking about that, and it's your all's first show, is because you have thrash bands playing, you have doom bands playing, you have, borderline hard rock to metal bands, and that's Halfcaster and Rifle, but then fucking, you got some death metal bands, you got thrash, you got a whole slew of like different bands.
And
and it all kicks ass, man.
And all these bands should be playing together. One thing that's always killed me, and I've been living here for at least 20 something years now, actually a lot longer than that, almost 30 by this point, is one thing that's always killed me about the local scene down here is everybody wants to get real cliquey about shit. Like, oh, well, you see, I'm in the death metal bands, and we don't go watch the thrash metal bands, and oh, well, we're this guy. It's like, look, we're all local metal bands. Everybody should go to each other's shows. We should all get along.
Yeah.
Strength in numbers, I mean.
And, that's one of the things that I talk about Portland a lot, and how they have a crazy fucking scene out there. And the cool thing about their fucking scene is most of the bands that are in their scene have been on this show because they are all, we love those guys. Those dudes are awesome. They're great people. Oh yeah, those people. Oh, they're fucking great, man. They're stand up. And it's like everybody does that about everybody out there.
You should be promoting everybody. I mean,
and I feel about all of those bands on that show, on those 2 nights, the same way that those bands out there feel about their bands. That I love each and every fucking one of them. Or, obviously I do, because like fucking, if not, fucking like, why would you even be playing? I would just wouldn't ask, right?
I mean, and even if like, a band isn't necessarily my style, I mean, we all know each other in this scene. I mean, I've been playing bass for a long time down here, and I know a lot of people. I mean, Schwartz, and hell yeah. I mean, I've known Schwartz. I mean, I used to do my first tattoos on Schwartz. I mean, Schwartz is a hell of a dude. Josh, Dave, and Nate, and Ohm. I mean, in my opinion, I think Ohm is the best local band for talking about pure musical talent, like able to just put together a song.
Yes,
like,
I agree with that. They are
Nate
ridiculous.
The flashiest guitar player in the scene? No, but is he, in my opinion, the best at coming up with melodies and all that? And he can shred when he wants to.
Yeah,
but he
I
knows
know.
when to shred. And that's important, man. And Josh, I mean, in my opinion, best drummer in the scene. I mean, you can argue me over that one. And Dave, I mean, I play bass myself. And I consider myself to be a good bass player. Like, I'm not chopped liver on a bass. But Dave is incredible on bass just watching him play. And plus, he's a super nice guy. He plays Blood Bowl, and he's a big nerd like me. You know? These are my bros, you know? I mean,
right, yeah. And I love all of them, you know. And I agree. They are one of, if not the best, in the Louisville area. Yeah. And, you know, their whole deal is just, it's special. Yeah. And it always has been. And from, not only just from, you know, just from the musicality, but from like the different eras too. You know, where different people have come in and played like special guest spots.
Because they had, was that Marissa would come out and do violin and all that stuff.
And you know, that was one of the first times I saw him was in like, you know, it was like 2006 or 7, early 7 maybe. And it was like right at the beginning, and it was insane. And they blow me away, and that's why I love, you know, having Nate and shit over and talking and bullshitting with him.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, they've been around forever. I mean, Josh was in what was it, Antikytheria, which used to be Callous and all that. And you know, I remember playing shows with them back in the day when you had Flaw, E flat. I mean, there were so many good bands.
Now, see, I wasn't playing shows in the scene then, but I was going to shows in the scene then because like. There was we're booking music exchanges, and that was Pandemonium. So there was that, and that was across the street from. Was that one of the first? Was that the first location of Body Art Emporium?
Yes, I think it was.
Yeah. Yep. Because then they moved to the very little place down the street. And then they
expanded. They expanded or moved and got the big place next to them to do all the piercings and stuff like that. If I recall correctly.
And then they moved over to Clarksville.
Were they in Clarksville? No, Charlie's was in Clarksville. I thought after James, the owner, died, I thought Body Art just kind of closed down. I thought
Jughead ran a.
That's right. He did have one over in Clarksville. Yep.
Jughead ran a shop over in Clarksville because it was over where Thou Who Shall Not Be Named was.
Yep. All that good stuff. No, I mean, I do remember that. Man, my memory is terrible because I remember going over there and bullshitting with Jughead and stuff like that. Yeah, no, man, Body Art was a solid place, man. I mean, but you know, Bardstown Road. And I think it's funny because Louisville always wants to shift what is the cool part of Louisville. But Bardstown Road had a stranglehold. Like back in the day, man, you wanted docs, you were going to Bardstown Road.
Yep.
You wanted like good music, well, you were going to your Ecstasy.
Yeah. I mean, you wanted good camera supplies, you go to Murphy's. Yep. You know, and I'm so glad that they're still there.
Yeah.
You know, Murphy's, you know, is still there, and that's like they've been there for like 50 years, you know, or better, and that's so cool. But anyways, you know, so fuck yeah, man. Looking forward to seeing more from you all, obviously, because that's what it's all fucking about. So we've derailed quite a bit already because
I can't help it, man. That's just my nature.
No, because that's how it's supposed to be. That's what this is all about. Because this is a conversation-based podcast, you know, and we bullshit, we hang out, we talk metal, we talk shop. That's what we're doing.
And, you know, I've just been quiet because, I mean, no disrespect, but I'm a different generation, man. So it's I've been in different scenes and stuff, too. Like, when I first started playing shows when I was, like, 16, I was in the metalcore, kind of hardcore kind of stuff.
And that's another thing that when you brought up the clickiness about scenes.
Yeah.
That's just as bad of being like me going to a metalcore show today where it's like 20-year-olds. I'd be looked at like, what the fuck are you doing here, dude? Yeah. It's like, what?
I can't say anything, man. Back in the day, we used to fucking give shit eye to, you know, people that we thought were old at the shows too, so I can't say anything.
To me, it doesn't matter, man. As long as you're there for the show, then that's the important thing,
right?
You know?
And that's what I'm saying too.
On like the 16-year-old chicks or something.
Yeah, don't be a sleazeball. Don't be an asshole.
And I know, and there's those dudes out there, and it's like, fuck that, man.
I remember being in tech world and seeing that stuff go down where it's like, bro, you're 52. Leave the teenage girls alone. What the hell?
I think we all know that guy.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Sorry, that got a little bit too personal there.
We all do it.
Because I guarantee the name that went through my head went through yours too.
But yeah, and the thing though is in the scene, there's always the skeezy guy. there's always like, I'm not gonna name names, but let's face it, it shows there's one dude that shows up maybe a little bit too into devil worshiping and doesn't quite understand how to drop this off. Where it's like, yeah, I knew King Diamond was a Satanist. No, I don't think he killed cats to try to summon the devil, bro. I mean, it's just there are odd motherfuckers in the scene, but that's part of what gives a character, right?
Yeah,
there. I mean,
that's part of it. Yeah. You have those fucking ones.
Yeah.
For me, it was the guys that liked PBR way too much.
Oh yeah, they were the people.
Trashed. Spinelli's had the sign, "Don't mosh into the pizza."
Yeah,
warmer.
absolutely, because of Vinny and them.
Jesus, fucking like Mosh Pit Pete. Like if he was at a show, you knew like he was probably going to fight somebody. I mean, and he didn't give a fuck about that. Hell, he'd go over to my wife and be like, "Is anybody here bothering you? If somebody starts bothering you, let me know." It's like, well, that means I don't got to do shit. Okay,
right. And then there's other people that that they're gonna, if they get anywhere near the pit, they're gonna start throwing fists.
Yeah.
And that's just because that's how who they are.
And that's the outlet of what they get. And that's the thing in a metal show. Like, what's your catharsis? Do you want to jump in the pit? Do you want to pick change up off the ground? Do you want to sit back at the bar and just have some beer and listen to loud music? I mean, what are you doing here? What's your release? Like, and that's the thing. We're not going to metal shows to hopefully like preen and look at each other's outfits and shit like that.
Right.
Well, if you did, it'd be stupid. It's dark in there anyway. Yeah.
Go in there and talk smack about you. Did you see the jeans that motherfucker's wearing?
I can't believe he had blue on.
Right. At a metal show.
Idiot.
It's supposed to be fucking black. Dude.
Go up to him and be like, name three
jackass.
bands or name 3 songs that band did.
Oh,
They'd
God.
be that one dude.
Oh, my God, dude.
Yeah. The gatekeeper guy where it's like, bro, and what kills me about that is those are the motherfuckers. They'll go up to like chicks and bother them. And it's like, dude, like, even if I'm here with my wife, like, I don't want it to be a sausage party in here. Like, what's wrong with you, dude? Like, why are you acting like this towards the ladies? Like, it's like when you go to the party and there's one motherfucker that wants to play, like, Chaos AD by Sepultura. And it's like, dude, if you put this on, I'm going to like it, but all the ladies are going to leave. And then everybody's going to leave because, like, put on some Rob Zombie. Put on something they can be like, oh, I can dance to this. And it's still heavy. I mean, don't be that, dude. That's all I'm saying. If y'all listen to this, don't be that.
If you want to listen to Chaos AD, put it in your fucking earbuds and listen to it.
Yeah. Or if you're at the right kind of party, I suppose you get a way of listening to it. So
yeah, there is that. The right kind of party. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to Derailed here. This is the 5 random questions segment.
Oh boy,
where it can come from anywhere.
I'm sure I'm prepared for this.
You're what?
I said I'm sure I'm prepared for this.
Yeah. Is there a popular food out there that you just don't like?
Mayonnaise.
Really? You don't like mayonnaise?
Mayonnaise. I hate that shit.
At all?
Like, now, ironically, if it's in tuna fish, I don't mind it in tuna fish. And as I've gotten older, I don't mind it. I'm just a texture kind of dude. Like, I'm the dude that, like, I will cut every single bit of fat off of my steak. I just do not like the way it feels in my mouth. I will aggressively, but if I'm in a restaurant and I eat something that I don't like or feels weird, I will aggressively spit that shit out of my napkin. I mean, I don't give 2 shits. I'm paying for it, I'm not gonna be like my grandma and hide that shit away and be like, I don't want them to know I didn't like it. I'm fucking paying you. So
right. Yeah. I mean, I totally get that.
And ketchup.
You don't like mayonnaise or ketchup?
Do not like
Interesting.
Ketchup,
no. I'm not a big ketchup
I don't
fan.
put dressing on myself. I'm a bland, boring, basic bitch like that sometimes. Like, it's just I like dressing on myself. No.
But you're also into physical fitness.
To an extent, man. I mean, I like going to the gym because of my job. I don't want my spine to like implode on me or anything like that.
Right. Because you're hunched over a lot and you're 9 feet tall.
Yeah, I'm not the dude that's like counting calories or anything like that. Like, I'm not the dude that's like, all right, well, I have to eat like, 3,000 calories of halibut by like 12 o'clock today. I mean, screw all that. That's more work than I want to put in. I just want to stay healthy,
Yeah.
And plus, let's face it, you can eat as much as you want to, but I'm also not going to juice up. And that's the real trick to get into a certain size, it seems like.
Yeah.
So.
For sure.
What about you, though?
For me, it's not necessarily that I hate it because it's not bad, but I just don't think pizza is all that great.
Really?
I think everybody thinks pizza is way cooler than it actually is.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are going to whoop your ass.
I don't give a shit, man. Send them turtles. I'm the reason for The Last Ronin.
Oh, that was a good comic.
That's a great comic.
Yeah, they're making a video game about it, too.
Nice.
Yeah, apparently.
Nice. And they're doing, what is there? There's a sequel now? Or something?
I'm not entirely sure. I know about the video game.
Yeah, there's something else, too, that it's like the Lost something with it or something. I can't remember. But anyway, yeah. So pizza, just
It's
just
It's just
topping
okay,
on
man.
bread.
Yeah, it's just cheese and sauce. That's it. You know, if I wanted cheese and sauce, then I could probably do it myself. All I got to do is get the Wonder Bread out. You know, put some ketchup and cheese on there, and I'll be happy.
So, wow,
I'm just kidding. I'm not serious. I don't think pizza's that great, but I'm joking about.
But you're not comparing it to fucking
no
ketchup and fucking
not at all.
shredded
Not at all.
mozzarella
No.
on Wonder Bread. I was like,
No, not at all. No,
You just made pizza unappetizing to me.
No shit, dude.
I
think Lunchables pizza is disgusting, and I would rather have it than what you just described. It would be fucking Domino's.
Yeah.
Another controversial opinion I have on food is that I think pineapple on pizza can kick ass, and anybody who says otherwise is wrong and needs to try barbecue and chicken or ham with it.
Yeah.
Barbecue on pizza is pretty good.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Oh, dude, fucking, we had CC's here for so long, and like they were so good. They had so many different, like the buffalo chicken pizza.
Oh, I am glad though that there finally seem to be good pizza joints here, because I am from Rochester, New York, which is right by Buffalo originally.
Yep.
And so I will admit, when I first moved down here, I was kind of a pizza snob about some stuff. Now, conversely enough, because I've been coming down here my whole life, like this is as far north as I think you can go and still get good barbecue. Like you get too much further north than this, and barbecue is just meat and a red sauce, and it's fucking terrible. So
I could see that.
yeah. So, but I jumped in and I hijacked.
No,
you're fine, man.
absolutely.
You're fine.
No, but the mayonnaise thing, I get that. Now, like, is it mayonnaise on a whole? Like for example, mayonnaise, Miracle Whip, ranch. You know,
It's
is
weird.
it
Like,
is it any condiment like that?
Is ranch technically a mayonnaise? I know it was called cowboy
It's a
mayonnaise
dressing.
originally.
I mean, the only thing I really like is
ranch
I
is
like
the-
mustard.
ranch? You know, let me tell you. You know the genesis of ranch, where it came from?
Yeah, the
bull
cowboy mayonnaise
semen.
crap. Oh, really? Is it?
Whoa.
Is it? Oh, well, I thought you were
this
saying
justifies-
bullshit. Like, I
this
thought you were
justifies-
using...
No, it's
Okay.
bull semen.
Okay,
If
I
that's
thought you
the
had your
case-
own little
Because it's
vernacular
mayonnaise
for...
with the thing.
Okay,
in it.
well that's
I
fine.
got you
because
now.
that
I got you.
justifies
Okay,
my
okay,
theory
okay.
if I refuse to eat anything that could possibly be construed as semen. So maybe that's why I don't like mayonnaise or ranch or Cool Whip or
Oh,
any
it's
of
the
that
opposite
Oh,
for
so-
me, man. I guzzle that shit. Like sweet Vidalia onion. Oh, man. That's my favorite salad dressing. I love that
shit.
shit.
The only salad dressing is Caesar. And other than that, like, what kind of dressing do you want to salad? Like, just bring a shit. But the same way, like, if it's like chicken wings or whatever, or fucking, I know everyone's gonna be like, he's from Buffalo, New York, and he doesn't fucking put blue cheese on his chicken wings. Yeah, just. I don't need that shit on there. It's
A
like,
lot of
it's like,
people
eh,
hate
yeah,
blue
to me,
cheese,
it's
man.
like people put A1 on their fucking steak, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
like,
if it is a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
steak, you don't need a steak sauce.
But the thing it's like
You shouldn't need
desserts,
a steak
man. I
sauce.
mean, I'll eat desserts sometimes. People are like, what do you want for dessert? It's like, well, the steak was the best part of the whole fucking meal, and that's what
You
I'm gonna
can't
eat,
top
so,
that. Yeah, the steak was there, man. Fuck yeah. Do you believe people who say they've been abducted by aliens?
No. Nah, man. I think it's possible that shit happens to people that they could misconstrue as aliens. Because, like, think about the government, the shit they did, abducting people and forcing them to take LSD and shit.
Yeah.
You know, there's no saying that stuff like that doesn't happen and then you think it's aliens because you're tripped out on fucking LSD, you know?
Right.
Like, so stuff like that could happen. It could just be bad people. Like, the Toy Box Killer was a crazy serial killer that would drug people up so they wouldn't remember what he did.
I've never heard of this
Weird.
motherfucker. I'm gonna have to check this out.
Definitely. That's wild. I don't know of that guy.
Yeah, no, he's really fucked up. It's not for the faint of heart. Like, I got told about it from somebody else, so I looked into it, and it's crazy fucked up. It's
Check
nasty.
this shit the fuck out as soon as I get home. Give me some. I'm always torn about this shit because on one hand, like, it sounds cool. Like, and what was that fucking movie? Fire on the Mountain or whatever?
Fire in the Sky.
Fire in the Sky. And
Yeah,
that
it's about
scene,
Travis Meredith?
Yeah, the guy that said he was abducted. But the
Yeah.
scene where, like, he's being abducted and he's in that weird tight thing that cut open the shit over his eyes and they're putting shit. That shit, I don't know when that was filmed, but it is still fucking scary as shit. to
Yeah,
this day.
it
is
was in the
creepy.
90s.
Yeah, it is creepy as shit. And, yeah, I think the Mothman's fucking cool. But the problem I run into with the alien abduction shit is it always seems to me to be like two lumberjacks that don't just want to come out and be like, oh, we're having a Brokeback session up here. Instead, they're like, we were abducted by aliens, and they probed us really hard for a few days, and then we got returned. And it's like, I don't know, man. it's one of those things where it just, like, it seems cool, but like Bigfoot, man. I mean, every time someone talks about Bigfoot, some Skeeter-looking motherfucker, and you're just like, dude, you're ruining credibility for me.
Fucking Ted Kaczynski.
Yeah. What's that one show where they act like they're hunting down fucking Bigfoot, and like, well, we dug this pit. Bigfoot can't jump out of that pit because Skeeter can't get out. I'm like, man, Skeeter fucking like size when he stands up. Like, Bigfoot's 9 foot tall, and you say he can run down a fucking deer. Like, you think he can't jump out of a 3 foot fucking? Oh, it's like those ghost shows. I hate. And I.
Oh yeah, Ghost Adventures, man.
Like, and the sad thing is, I totally believe in that shit. Like, I love the idea of that shit, but it gets ruined for me. It's like when I go to Slayer concerts, and I'm like, man, I love some fucking Slayer, and then I see Slayer fans, and I'm like, bro, could you not, like, carve swastikas in each other's forearms and, like, do cocaine off the back of the fucking urinal in the restroom and scream Slayer at the top of your lungs? You make us all look like assholes, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the thing with Ghost Adventures. You got some dude that he's like a reject from Jersey fucking Shore.
Yeah, fuck you, Ghost.
And he,
fuck
like,
you.
he
If
goes-
I don't believe in you.
he
Prove
goes
you're
in
real.
these
Go
films-
attack Aaron.
Yeah.
Like,
He
screw
goes in
you,
these
dude.
films and he challenges like Aaron to a fight. He's like, "You want to fucking fight somebody, Ghost? Why don't you come down and fight me?" And then you have his buddies who are running around with their camera and they're like, "Oh man, some pushed me, man. Oh, I fell." But it makes money, and I don't know. Maybe.
Did you hear that? I think the static said, "Hello, my name is John."
Later, later EVP revealed, "You are full of shit." I mean, but maybe I just have too much pride, or like I can't do that. Like, because I love bullshit with people, but I just can't bullshit people.
I
like
think
that. It's all night vision. What, ghosts are scared of the light? Like, come the fuck on, turn the lights on, turn off the green shit. I feel like I'm watching the Blair Witch with even more camera twitch.
Right, you know, and that's the whole thing for me about it. As I do believe in paranormal and supernatural and shit like that, but the ghost hunter shows and the you know, In Search of and all of that shit is just a, I don't know, like it's the carny exploitation of it is all that it is. It's the admittance to the shit show, and it's the distraction. Sorry, I'm not trying to get conspiracy theorist on that, but it is. It's a distraction of what the real thing is.
What?
You know, just like how the amalgamation of like, you know, like the story of Christmas and, you know, Saint Nick and all that fucking shit. And how it's changed over years in different cultures and shit like that, right? But like, you know.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was interesting that Krampus made a comeback all of a sudden. Like, here's this old, you know, 18th century boogeyman from like the Austrian German region, like basically a hill thing, and he became the zeitgeist. Like, every time I turned around there was Krampus, and I thought that was kind of cool. There's a lot of old stories and stuff like that that are being retold. But no, man, Ghost Adventures, it just, I say it sucks, man, because like when I was younger I used to love going to fucked up places like Waverly over in Louisville. Like all that stuff, like it was weird up there, man. You'd see some crazy ass shit, you know. And I'm not going to say, oh well, that stuff doesn't exist, because I mean, as far as I know, I've seen and heard some shit that I thought was kind of fucking weird. But the Ghost Adventure shit, like I said, man, it's exploitation. It's basically keeping up with the Kardashians crossed with Poltergeist.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. That's a perfect example of it. Yeah, what you or analogy. That's exactly what it is. It is reality show based that, you know, is just like the Oak Island thing.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
You know,
Christ.
and people are fucking like ridiculous when they think about this shit. It's like, okay, for one, if something was discovered, it's going to make the news before. It's going to be like another year before that show is going to be released.
Well,
you know?
And the thing, too, with Oak Island is that place has been drilled from beginning to end. If there was anything there, it's been found. You know, there's nothing there, people. I mean, I'm sorry. There hits a certain point where you just got to give up on this shit and say, you know something? We tried. We're done with this. But, you know, they keep, because the camera crews are there and all that stuff. It just, I don't know.
Well, and people, what the big thing about that is it's like, you know, people don't understand that they're getting paid to do that.
Well, it's like those the storage wars or whatever, where like, you know, there's a bunch of totes, and then all of a sudden, oh, but look, there's an African tiki mask in here. It's like, so you're gonna tell me that there's a bunch of Pampers, a bunch of socks, some granny knickknacks, and then a $400 tiki mask that goes with absolutely nothing else in the storage unit, and that was totally in there.
Or the one that got me is the guy Daryl, who always got the art.
Yeah,
and he's like, oh man, he talked like this. Yeah, that guy. Oh fuck, dude.
Yeah.
No, fuck that.
I mean, it's all a show.
It is. It's all bargain basement entertainment.
Yeah, and if that's what entertains you, go for it. But it's just, sometimes it can go far enough to make a mockery out of stuff that's serious.
For sure. For sure, absolutely. And I think that's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah. I'm just agreeing with you, really.
Yeah, definitely, man.
That shit's like, it's the equivalent to a ghost of what like Billy Heen or the 700 Club is to like actual like nice normal religious people, where it just makes a complete mockery of them, and you're just like, you're involved with this shit? Like,
right.
Get the fuck out of here.
Fuck that shit.
Or Slayer fans.
Or Slayer fans, which is funny because fucking Tom Mariah is a devout Catholic.
Yep.
As in like goes to mass twice a week, and which is always interesting to me to find out that like these big like satanic driven bands are like super Catholic people.
I don't know, man. I mean, I think if you're going to be that invested in, because I mean, when you get down to it, Satan is just it's Christian lore. I mean, so obviously, if you're super into the devil, then there's the flip side of the coin. You have to believe in God at that point, and everything else that goes along with Christianity, right? Because otherwise, you're not going to be like, oh, it's Satan. You're just going to be like, oh, it's the Miggered serpent or whatever in the fuck, mythological beast of destruction you want to pull out of your ass. I mean,
I think a lot of people that worship the Christian Satan are really just trying to piss Christians off.
Well, yeah, but I can't say nothing because it's fun. It's
easy to poke the bear.
Metal is because it pisses the Christians off and the Catholics.
And it's good advertising. You convince the Christians that like you're gonna like kill a goat in there or something, or maybe there's gonna be some boobs shown or like whatever. I mean, back in the day, I remember the first time I saw Ozzy, I was so pissed the fuck off because for years I'd heard, when you go to an Ozzy Osbourne concert, let me tell you something, Philip. Let me tell you what they do in there. First of all, there's women that will expose their breasts, and that was true. And I was okay with that. But then you also had, and then Ozzy's going to pass around a bucket, and he's going to tell everybody they have to spit and or piss in said bucket. And then he is going to drink it. And all I know is I went to Ozzy, and Ozzy ran around stage like a big fucking hippie. And okay, there were chicks flashing off in the audience and shit like that, but no bucket got passed around. No bats' heads got fucking severed. Nope. Ozzy basically said, I love you a whole fucking bunch, and that was it. Like, it was kind of a letdown. I mean, the first time I saw Marilyn Manson, I was just like, okay. Actually, I saw him over for Danzig. That was the first time I saw Manson, and I went, the fuck is this goofball's problem? And this was at a Freedom Hall. I had a 9-volt battery in my jacket pocket because this was pre-9/11, kids, so nobody gave a fuck what you brought into the show back then. Chain wallet? Why not? Spike jacket? Sure. Brass knuckles? Whatever. And I was tempted to take that fucking 9-volt battery and bounce it the fuck off his head. If anybody wants to know why I had a 9-volt battery, active fucking bass pickup, I changed that earlier the day, put the dead one in my fucking jacket pocket. Just in case anybody wants to know. But I was tempted to bounce off Manson's head because he was annoying the fuck out of me. But I knew with my luck, if I threw it at fucking Manson, I would hit Danzig. And I might be 9 feet fucking tall. But I'm not going to get my ass whooped by some tiny ass little. This was prime Danzig. And,
when he was built like a motherfucker and didn't look like what's the meme where it's going around?
Oh, he was like 3-liter Mountain Dew and all that.
Yeah. No, it's always the guy that's rolling out of the bed and he's got like the comb over that's happening and he's all like. I didn't want to get my ass whooped by fucking Danzig. Oh God, no.
Fuck no. And I think Korn was actually the opening band, and they sounded fucking terrible too. So fucking bad.
Yeah, like
I've seen Korn twice, and I wasn't super impressed. I mean, they weren't bad. But
but you've seen Korn now, though.
Yeah,
right?
That's fair. I didn't get to see Korn, and
Korn did have a prime. I will give them that. Yeah. When they hit Follow the Leader to like Issues, I think that was their prime. Yeah, those like 3 albums or however many albums it was there, something like that. And I guess that's also like my grow out of phase of them because I don't listen to anything past that like of theirs. But then again, I don't listen to other stuff of theirs either because like I just don't necessarily.
Oh, but that happens with a lot of bands. Like I love me some Maiden, but anything past Brave New World, I'm just
Yeah,
not
it's
really
just going through the
vested
motions.
in,
Yeah,
like in the Blaze Bailey stuff before that, like I have.
hey, there's
no
some
idea.
good stuff on there.
There's some good stuff. Was that the Klansman is
Yeah.
a solid ass song. The problem they ran into was they took a guy that had a good voice and did not sing in the register of Bruce, but then they wanted him to sing like Bruce, and they buried him in the mix, and it sounds like absolute crap. And it's like it's the Jason Newsted treatment on
Yeah.
fucking Injustice.
It
Fall.
really
It's like,
is.
why the fuck
I was
did they
about
do
to bring
that?
up Metallica, actually. I was going to say,
Yeah.
I think even everybody has a prime.
Yeah.
You know, eventually you're just doing it for the money, and you're...
Yeah, but
God,
if you're not
no,
gonna buy it
no.
on vinyl, it's got to be something that A is like legitimately just a badass album. Like, you know, I got all of Priest old stuff, all
Yeah.
of Maiden's old stuff. Or with this way things are going now, like I'll grab something new on vinyl, just check it out. I grabbed Virgin Steel's new one on vinyl just because, I mean, this point I'm going to get free for the MP3 thing, and plus I like collecting this shit. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, but yeah, I mean, I'm not going to buy like something that I know is a letdown. It's one of the things I love about MP3s and streaming is I can go, this band looks cool, and then I'm not out $12 for a CD. Like, what was that? I bought Danzig's Black Acid Devil. Oh my God, disappointment. Fuck is this? I mean, there's some bands you buy them and you're just like, but every now and then you get a really great band.
In a time of madness and deceit, its coming was foretold. And now, Soul Grinder has returned to become filled and crusted. From the band who brought you the prophecy of blight comes a terrifying new chapter that will leave you changed forever. This summer, don the armor of atrophy. Let plasma crust away and become filth encrusted.
Moving on, though, because we got a couple more questions. Phil, you run your own business.
Yes.
You are your own boss. You are an entrepreneur. You give back to the community as much as you can because you do like sponsorships and stuff like that. You do flyers for shows or have done flyers for shows and stuff like that. What books? And I know you're a fairly articulate.
I try.
Yeah,
when I'm not mispronouncing words and putting my foot in my mouth, I'm super articulate.
Well, I think so. I think you're like a well-versed person. Like you're worldly to me, which I think is awesome. What books have helped you along your journey into what you have now?
Oh man, as far as books go, that's a big one. Stephen King wrote a lot of good stuff. H.P. Lovecraft, Peter Straub's Ghost Story is probably one of the best horror novels ever written. Clive Barker did some interesting stuff when he wasn't being kind of loopy. Let's see, I'm a big fantasy nerd. Let's see, Patrick Rothfuss, Name of the Wind is a fantastic novel. I also love all the old dumb Dragonlance and Conan and all that stuff I used to read when I was a teenager. But it's like metal, you know. You listen to it when you're 13, like Peace of Mind. I was like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah,
and I still love it. I mean,
and you're
it's
48
stupid.
and you still love it, you know. Still, and that's awesome. And that's cool that, you know, you totally went straight into the fiction that's helped you through that.
Yeah. But, I mean, Ken Follett wrote a lot of historical fiction stuff where, you know, it's got a fictional element to it, but still the telling of, like, Salisbury Cathedral being built. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff out there. I mean,
right.
You know, I mean, but I'm a voracious reader. I really enjoy reading. But I'll read schlocky stuff. I'll read, you know, deep stuff. It depends.
Do you read anything business, though? Like, I'm sure you've got, with your business being the tattoo shop, I'm sure you have to have, like...
I'll read some of those, but the problem is a lot of those are like self-help novels, and the fact that it's telling you things that you should already know, or it's just trying to get money off of you. I have read, like, who is that? Mr. Wonderful off his Shark Tank. I read his book. I thought that was fairly interesting. He has a very minimalistic view towards things. Like, he is a firm believer in you should not spend money on frivolous things. I mean, it's just... but, you know, as far as, like, actual, like...
I just bought a bat skull necklace for $1.
I didn't say I followed it. I just said that's what he's going off of. Like,
right, I get
where
that.
It's like, you have a pet, you got to remember, you got to feed this thing, and you got to have to clean its shit up at some point or another, which isn't wrong, per se. But I still have cats. I mean, you know, it's just the nature of the beast. But then again, I'm a firm believer in you should save money. You should be, fiscally frugal. But at the same time, man, there's no point in having a bunch of money and then denying yourself things in life. Like, you should not be like, oh, well, I have all this money in the bank and I'm going to eat pizza.
That I hate.
That I hate.
Do you have all the money in the bank?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't have all the money in the bank, man.
Yeah,
You got it in a jar in the backyard.
I mean, I wouldn't keep my money in the bank these days. That's all I'm saying.
No shit. At least not in any American bank.
No, I mean, right now, what is it, like $100 at Kroger's is the new $20 at Kroger's? Like, it's just getting ridiculous. I stopped getting gas. It was like $4.20 a gallon, which I did think was humorous. And then, actually, I think it was $4.19, but I just rounded it up. And then I got 2 bags of fucking M&Ms because the wife was like, "You should get some M&Ms for you." I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get some I'm gonna give me a bag so I can get all her M&Ms." It's $6 fucking for 2 bags of M&Ms.
Yeah.
Now I sound like my goddamn granddad complaining about the price of groceries. It's fucking bullshit.
No, but it's the fucking truth, though, and that's on a whole other thing,
Yeah.
And no, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
What about you, Darren? Have you what books have helped you along your journey?
That's interesting because it's been a while since I've been too deep into reading. A lot more of my ish is just to put it in a Gen Z way is to watch movies and play video games. But
Right.
from when I read and what I do read, I really like The Hobbit. I love The Hobbit.
Yeah.
I just think it's a really good story about perseverance and realizing your own strength and being able to come through stuff.
Yeah.
Come out the other side and be a legend.
And smoking weed.
And old Toby, finest weed in South Farthing.
Yep. That Hobbit weed, it ruined Gandalf's mind.
But hey, man, he could do some hellacious smoke tricks.
Oh, he could.
Right?
So, we totally got to get you to dress up for the anniversary show. If you do, or the anniversary for the new Albany shop, if you do it at Halloween instead of on the 13th, you've totally got to dress up. And you probably have already dressed up as him before just because of your height and your look.
Yeah.
Is Saruman.
Yeah, I've gotten that one before.
I'm sure you have.
I got the Christopher Lee features.
Yes,
sure,
you
so.
do. You do, and you don't have as near of a deep a voice as him.
No, I do not have. No,
but I'm sure if you really practiced it, you could really come close.
I could sit there and be like, "And lo, the hobbits come." I mean, it's just,
dude. That
was pretty good.
Close.
That was pretty fucking good.
That was really good.
That was good.
God damn, you've got to do this.
I mean, it's just. But no, Christopher Lee was an interesting dude. He was a Renaissance guy, and he was in a metal band too. Man, he did a lot of shit for
when he was in his
Fire?
80s, he did a metal album.
Yeah.
He was also special forces for the British military.
That was one of my favorite deals when they were shooting the scene where he dies. And he talks to Peter Jackson about, he's like, Grima's going to come up and stab you from behind and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And he's like, and you're just going to go, and fall down, right? And he's just like, Peter, do you know what the human body does when you get stabbed in the back? You don't scream. Yeah. And he explains to him, like, the thing, because he was a special force in World War II, and killed many Nazi by stealth tactics.
He also terrified the shit out of some communist officers while they were filming one of the Hammer Dracula movies in an old castle. They thought they had the castle to themselves, so he went out in the main room in his full costume, and there were a bunch of communist officers sitting around having dinner, and he said he scared the shit out of him. He's lucky he didn't get shot, honestly.
Jeez,
so, there you are in Romania, and all of a sudden Christopher Lee walks out as the count, and you're just like,
no shit, man. So there is a wrestling deck in here. Yeah. So I'm going to bring in a wrestling deck here. And I'm sorry that this is not your jam, as they say, or your ish. What is your favorite storyline in wrestling ever?
Ever?
Ever.
Oh, man. I always liked the Ministry of Darkness stuff with The Undertaker. I thought
yes.
it was cool as hell. Brood, Gangrel, got weird. Bloodline is currently a fantastic storyline that they have going. So, but yeah, I'd say Ministry of Darkness.
Yeah, I get that. That's a total great one. I love that.
And the NWO was cool as shit.
Yes.
Until it wasn't. And then it became
wasn't.
bad. But yeah, I
until everybody and their cousin was in there.
When Hogan went heel, though, man, I remember everybody lost their
I watched
fucking
that live.
Yep, me too.
And holy shit, it's Hogan.
Yeah.
And then Bobby Heenan said the thing.
Yeah.
And it pissed everybody off because he apparently just said it. And
But
what side is he on?
Yeah. Let me tell you something, Mean Gene. You need to get these people to shut the hell up if you want to hear what I have to say.
Dude, my favorite fucking moment in WCW television is that moment ever. Because at the very end of that pay-per-view, Tony Schiavone signs off the pay-per-view saying, Hulk Hogan, you can go to hell.
I'm not super well versed in wrestling, but I think a solid shout out for hilarity and awfulness, honestly, is the custody of Dominic between Rey Mysterio
Dominic
and Eddie
on a
Guerrero.
stick.
Dude, fucking, apparently, I say this about that, and it is fucking kind of funny. If you look at Ray and Dominic standing next to each other, you know,
Eddie
Dominic's
might be
a
his
lot.
dad.
Dominic's a lot taller, so
Eddie
Eddie
might
might have
be his
been
dad,
the
yeah.
poppy.
Yeah.
And now that they're totally doing the poppy and mommy thing,
Which, to be fair, I mean, Dominic gets crazy heat. I mean, the amount of heat that kid gets, like, he can't even talk. And also, I don't care what anybody says, Rhea Ripley, I'm A-okay with. So.
Yeah, me too. I mean, no, like, she is a great fucking performer.
Yeah, she's a great wrestler. She's great on the mic.
Yeah.
I mean, and she's a bad bitch. I mean, she's not like some like little noodle arm chick that's coming out of the women's division. She'd be like, let's have a flat fight for the belt. Like, she's going to beat the shit out of somebody.
Yeah.
So.
The only thing, and don't get me wrong, she's a hot version of him, but Chris Motionless.
I don't know who that is.
Oh,
Really? Motionless in White's vocalist.
Oh, Jesus, you've ruined that forever. You son of a bitch. This is like the time
It's the guy who sang her
I'm glad I don't know.
The guy who sang her entrance music.
Oh.
They look like they're brother and sister.
This is like the time I was admiring Ruby Rose and somebody told me she looks just like Leonardo DiCaprio. And I was like, son of a bitch, she does look like a young Leonardo DiCaprio. Ruined forever.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Now that you say that, that's insane. Personally, for me, I loved the plastic surgeon angle with Earl Hebner and Dave Hebner.
I don't remember this one.
This was in the 80s. This was when Andre beat Hogan for the belt on Saturday night's main event.
Okay.
And then sold the belt to Ted DiBiase.
I remember all that, yeah.
And it was the lead up to WrestleMania 4 where they had to they vacated the WWF Championship and then they had the tournament to crown the new champion.
Yeah.
Because Andre was going out, I believe, to film, and Hogan had to have a surgery or something too.
Okay.
And it was to rotate him out, and that's when they gave the belt to Randy Savage in a tournament, so Hogan didn't have to do the job. Right.
Well, because Hogan wasn't going to do the job.
Yeah, because Hogan wasn't going to do it. That don't work for me, brother.
Let me tell you something, dude. I'm just not feeling that one, brother.
Yeah, it wasn't his time to lose it like that. You could buy it if it were Andre. But basically what the storyline was is they paid a guy to get plastic surgery to look like Dave Hebner, the referee. And, well, see, Dave's brother Earl was a ref in NWA at the time, primarily in the North Carolina territories only. Jim Crockett, right? And so he jumped ship when they did the twin angle, and it's like, oh, it's two fucking guys, they look the same. So that's what they had done there. And I've always thought that was in like 1988 or whatever. I think that's a pretty cool storyline. So we have one more question. But before we get to it, as always, links are listed below. So please give a like, a share, and a follow. Go find these guys on Facebook, Bandcamp, Instagrams, all of that stuff. They're listed below. You could get there from there.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll come over your house and cut off your face with a linoleum knife.
Oh my God, yeah. Because that's fucking metal. and
man,
hard.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force. The fuck, I mean, who was that? Mastodon. They do the "Don't Speak, Listen" song. That's one of the lines from that shit.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be there to take a picture of the body and use it as
Because
an
like the
album
little
cover.
candy bars coming, like let's go down to the movies, and then they have like the gumdrop with the big
I'm
lip
actually
piercing,
not
and he headbutts the shit out of them. They
I'm
just start,
actually not an Aqua Teen fan.
listen.
You know, that whole era like bypassed me.
Now, I was never a huge fan. Like, I can see the stoner humor in it, like the little Moonanites and shit. But that part, if you just type in like the opening credits or the "Don't Speak, Listen" song, because it's Mastodon and it's some good shit. So
Right.
yeah.
For sure. Do y'all have any shout outs you want to give to anybody?
Well, let's see. I hit up Ohm, and I'll give a shout out to our guitar players.
Yeah, Gabe and Daryl.
Yeah, we gotta give a shout out to them. Give a shout out to the crew. I mean, I don't know, man. There's all kinds of people I could give a shout out to.
My mama.
Yeah.
I'll
love
give a
my
shout out
mama.
to his mama too.
Yeah.
Love my
shout out.
dad too, but love my mama.
Do you love your mama even more?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I'm just playing. I don't actually. I'm just playing.
Nah. Yeah.
There are a lot of cool bands though. You know,
Yeah.
like A Rumor of War kicks
Yeah.
ass. I love A Rumor of War. They're pretty
For sure.
fucking good. And Hollow Valley rips.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're gonna ask this. We're gonna go with the not safe for work deck.
Oh no,
Yeah.
those are fun.
Have you ever injured yourself during sex?
Oh man, my mama's listening to this.
How old are you?
23.
I mean, she
No,
probably
no,
knows
I know.
that
I'm
you've
just-
had sex.
I was just trying to play around. Let's see. I can't really think of anything.
Maybe some like friction burns or something like that. I mean,
You never like fell over and fucking like twisted your fucking
See,
knee.
thing
I mean,
you-
you're like 9 feet tall.
But the reason, one of the things with that is being 9 feet tall. I'm an incredibly fucking lazy person, and I'm not going to do anything that goddamn energetic. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not like, I ain't going to be no porn star. There's not going to be a lot of flipping shit around and like, all right, now we're going to go fucking this way. Now this, nope. I'm getting the groove going, and that's it right there.
Back on the wrestling thing really fast here.
Damn it.
You know, that was always the funniest fucking thing that I always heard fucking like in commentary, like during like the mid 90s and shit, where like Diesel, Kevin Nash was in there and it's like, because he was so fucking tall, and they're like, yeah, but if you get him down, he's fucking like a normal sized person. It's like, no, he's not. He's still 7 foot fucking tall. He's just laying fucking down, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's not easy to go. But no, I mean, I've never like had any tragedies of like having to go to the hospital or anything like that.
Right. No piercings getting caught like together.
No, nothing like that. No unfortunate incidents involving braces or like smack anything up against a piece of wood and busting anything or anything like that. So
I've been pretty careful.
Jesus.
Well, I've been tattooing a long time. I hear all kinds of interesting shit from my customers, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
You all?
I didn't say I haven't done anything crazy. I just said I haven't fucked up.
You haven't gotten hurt yet. You haven't injured yourself enough.
And I mean, for some people, the injury is part of the fucking fun. There's people out there who pay good money. I thought I made decent money until I started talking to some professional dominatrixes, and I was like, man, for that kind of money, I'll pour fucking candle wax on a dude's chest and fucking kick him in the dick and tell him he's ugly. I don't give a fuck. Go do my dishes, bitch. Pay me.
We're not going to top that. We are not. It's just physically impossible to top what you just said. Thank you, Phil. I love you to death. On our way out today. Thank you. No, seriously. Thank you all for coming into the Metal Forge this week. This has been a fucking blast. This has been so much fucking fun from the EP. Yeah. What are we going to play out?
What do you want to play? You just want to do a single? You want to do Bleed 'Em Dry? Or?
Yeah, I think Bleed Them Dry is a pretty kick-ass song.
Yeah, that's the first single off of it, so might as well play that one.
Yeah, go for it, man. That one rips ass.
Here it is. Bleed Them Dry. In 2017, one man's vision and passion for all things metal started out as a record store in his house. Years later, the fight against a mainstream empire continues as Shadebeast. An independent metal collective and online store based in Athens, Georgia, is the world's premier heavy metal brand for music heads that value authenticity over the mainstream acceptance. Featuring original t-shirts from some of the best underground artists, as well as stickers, posters from the Shadebeast Presents concert series. Unique, one-of-a-kind collectibles and small curated selection of vinyl and cassettes from the masters old and new. Visit Shadebeast.com and enter promo code SithLord for free domestic shipping on your first order, whether you're a new customer or returning. And be sure to join the Shadebeast social groups on Facebook and the interwebs to keep up with the new release announcements and talk all things metal and Star Wars. You'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and filth.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Since 2013, there has been a calling from the underground, from the graves of all those unholy, and they decided to make a zine to talk about all of this. Soul Grinder Zine! An independent metal zine to keep you informed on all things metal and horror from the underground. Available in both print and digital formats, they're bringing you the best interviews and reviews out there today. Not only do they do the zine, but they also do compilation CDs. Check them out at facebook.com/soulgrinder.zine and start your subscription now.
Hey everybody, let me tell you about the new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Unchained Tapes. They're an independent Pennsylvania tape label. They focus on extreme metal and punk with a killer approach to the tape scene. Visit their web store at unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com now to get your fill of tapes. And for being a Metal Forge listener, enter the code METALFORGE10 at checkout to get a 10% discount on your total purchase. That's unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com.
What's up, Metal Forge fans? This is Alan Bishop, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest and head distiller at Spirits of French Lick. Do you find yourself drawn to the unexplained, fascinated by the Fortean, or enchanted by the paranormal? If the things that go bump in the night resonate in your mind, then tune into my brand new podcast, If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything. Featuring first-hand accounts, collected stories, interviews, history, and speculation related to all things not of this world. Available now on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and more. Set back, relax, and remember, if you have ghosts, you have everything.
Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. To distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter code METALFORGE10 to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now.
Hey Metalheads, it's with great pleasure I get to tell you guys about a new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Ageless Art, New Albany. After 20 years of owning and operating Ageless Art in Clarksville, Indiana, Phil Garret had a vision for a new type of tattoo studio. Something that is clean and modern, sleek, refined, inviting. And he's done just that with Ageless Art in New Albany. You can find it at 2736 Charlestown Road New Albany, Indiana, 47150. Business hours are Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sundays are 12 to 6. All sessions are appointment only, so give them a call and go get you some new ink. Or if it's your first time, go get your first one, baby. Maxwell's House of Music in Jeffersonville, Indiana is the premier 12,500 square foot music superstore that has served both southern Indiana and Louisville, Kentucky metro area for over 4 decades. Originally founded by Marvin and Beverly Maxwell in the 70s, this gym remains a Maxwell family-owned business. Mark Maxwell, along with his business partner Whitney McNichol, continued the reputation as being the national resource for all things music.
In 2022, the iconic Guitar Emporium of Louisville relocated to Maxwell's Music, creating the largest independently owned showroom in the region. The retail offerings at Maxwell's Music includes a huge selection of guitars, basses, amplifiers, effects pedals, modeling amps, keyboards, drums, banjos, mandolins, ukuleles, sound systems, stage lighting equipment, and accessories. The music education program at Maxwell's is second to none. From private instrument and voice lessons to DJ, EDM, recording, songwriting, and music theory, to rock school, weekend warriors, and Maxwell's Music Lab, there is something for every age and every ability level.
Down in Repairland, guitar and instrument repairs and refurbishment are taken care of by the Maxwell's team of expert guitar technicians and luthiers. They also do appraisals of instruments as well. Maxwell's offers installations for professional audio, visual, and lighting systems for schools, churches, clubs, VFWs, funeral homes, sports fields, and so much more. There's also rentable space at Maxwell's, from the music practice and rehearsal rooms for the individuals and bands, all the way to a meeting space and concert venue that seats up to 120. That also includes a professional audio, visual, and lighting system and a sound booth. Maxwell's has it all. All this plus an original functioning 1947 recording booth to make your own record. Go to the Guitar Hero throne, to the very own Elvis statue, and don't forget the Harmony Green Pocket Park. There's a reason the Maxwell's House of Music in Jeffersonville, Indiana has been recognized by the National Association of Music Merchants as a #1 award-winning best store design, as well as top 100 music store year after year. You gotta see it to believe it. Maxwell's House of Music in Jeffersonville, Indiana.